Howdy YouTubers, this is Steven, and I'm back with another photo analysis. This time I'll be analyzing the cover of Ayumi Hamasaki and Keiko's single, A Song is Born. Alright, so when I first look at this single cover, I notice that, you know, it's a beauty shot. It's a beauty shot of two women, Ayumi Hamasaki and Keiko. And I noticed that Ayumi Hamasaki is straight on. Her face is straight on. While Keiko's face is to the side. We're getting a profile view. I don't know why. So that kind of throws me off right there. Because it's like they're not on the same page. And in fact, it seems like this was like photoshopped together. Like Ayumi took a picture by herself and Keiko took a picture by herself, and then they just got someone to Photoshop the pictures together into one photo. That seems like that's how it looks. I could be wrong, but that's how it looks. And as well, I feel like the way that Keiko's face looks, you can't really get a good look at her face. You know, her face is there, but you can't really get a good look at it. Ayumi Hamasaki, on the other hand, you can get a really good look at her face. Well, the majority of it. A section of it is kind of cut off at the side if you look, which is kind of strange. I think they should have dealt with that in editing or post-production and make sure that Ayumi Hamasaki's entire face was on this photo as well. They should have made sure that Keiko's face was on this cover appropriately and correctly. Ayumi Hamasaki's facial expression looks a little blank, slightly vacant. I like her eyes. You know, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think that Ayumi Hamasaki has really beautiful eyes. And as well as I noticed that she pulled her hair back, so she's trying to really work her face and her bone structure. So good, good checkpoint there. You get a checkpoint for that one, Ayumi. But the facial expression is not doing it for me, and it's just because it just comes off very blank. I'm not quite sure what she's trying to tell us with her facial expression or what she's trying to express with her facial expression. Keiko, on the other hand, her eyes, you can't really get a good look at her eyes. From what I do see, it seems like there is some expression in her eyes, but you can't get a really good look. As well, I do think there is some type of expression in her face. It seems like the way she's looking and the way she's positioned her body, is like she is, longing for something, perhaps, or wanting something. I'm not sure what or who, but nevertheless, it's there. As well, her hair is not pulled back, but you can still see her face. And her bangs probably should have been trimmed a little bit so it's not covering so much of her face or so much of her forehead. And also I noticed that it looks like the women are topless in the photo, which does work well into the theme of the single, which is A Song is Born, birth. Comes out very natural, very earthy, very maternal. So yeah, I think that was a good look and a good touch to add to the photo. Well, technically they didn't add it to the photo. I guess they took the clothes away from the photo, but you get what I'm saying. And also the photo is in black and white, so it has more of a editorial feel with it, a more serious feel with it. And I don't know, these two don't seem to be really interacting well with each other. I don't know. It seems like the it's like they aren't there aren't they don't seem like they're both on the same page as far as what's going on in the photo, and as well they don't seem like they're really connected in the photo. Maybe if Ayumi had turned and looked at Keiko, then that would have helped. Or perhaps if Keiko was straight on or straightforward as well in her facial expression, like if she stood straight on, face forward, that might have helped as well. But that's not how it happened. I will say that Keiko is giving good neck in this photo, while Ayumi's neck looks like a very stumpy tree stump. However, I do like, the touch of Ayumi Hamasaki's nails in the photo. However, I think she could have positioned her hand a little bit better. But, that's what she chose. It's a nice touch. It's an alright touch to it. But perhaps maybe it does take away from the naturalness of the photo, though, since her nails are done. Maybe if her nails weren't done, perhaps it would add more to the natural feel that they were going for with this photo. But nevertheless, it's a good look either way, though. And, Keiko's hair looks a little slightly disheveled a little bit. I don't know. But, her hair could have been done a little bit better. Her glam squad should have been on that. But, Ayumi's glam squad, on the other hand, they pulled her hair back. So it's like, hey, you don't know if it's done or not. And, I wonder what Keiko would look like if her hair was pulled back. Sometimes that doesn't work for all people, it doesn't work for everybody. And maybe Keiko is one of those people. However, she could have she didn't have to pull her hair totally back, but she could have just moved her hair behind her shoulders so that she could show more skin. And that helps play into the theme of birth, that whole natural birth theme that's going on in the photo. That would have helped better, improve the photo more. Let's see. Who is the strongest, or who is the better of the two in this photo? Who is serving it more in this photo? That's a difficult choice because they both have some issues that I'm struggling with. But for me, I'm going to say that I think, like on one hand, Ayumi Hamasaki is giving us a strong face. But on the other hand, I kind of like that Keiko does have somewhat of a facial expression on her face. Ayumi Hamasaki is, she pulled her hair back, so that's cool. And she's giving us some nails, so that's good. But sometimes less is more. So it's a tough choice for me. But I will go with Keiko. I think that Keiko is serving it better in this photo. And I think that Ayumi Hamasaki should have followed Keiko's lead in this photo, or followed suit with Keiko versus them coming up with this, And, perhaps it's not a fair assessment or a fair judgment because Keiko is giving profile while Ayumi is giving, straight on. But nevertheless, based on what we have in this photo, I think that Keiko is serving it stronger in this photo. But the one thing that does help out Ayumi in this photo is her eyes. It's always the eyes with Ayumi. If she ain't doing nothing else right, she is serving it with her eyes. And that's probably the one thing that's really keeping me, that's really kind of had me, struggling with who's the stronger person in this photo. Who's serving it better in this photo. But overall, they both have their pros and cons. They both do look nice in the photo. But I feel like this photo, they kind of missed the mark in a way, because this song is supposed to be about, like, it's supposed to be a song for charity for the victims of 9/11. So, like, it seems like they should have more of a connection with each other, if you get what I'm saying. This song, it's, I think they missed the mark to an extent. However, them being topless in the photo does kind of play into the theme. So, on one hand, they kind of missed the mark in one way, but on the other hand, they kind of hit the mark. So, there you have it. That's what I think. But feel free to let me know what you guys think. Feel free to comment. Feel free to subscribe. Feel free to give me a thumbs up. Your feedback and your support are extremely appreciated and extremely valued. Until the next photo analysis, adios and goodbye for now.